artificial neural networks, support vector machines, particle swarm intelligence, artificial immune systems, fuzzy logic, and then the genetic and evolution algorithm, based reasoning, decision tree, and then principal components analysis. This is powerful, I'm telling you. So let me just briefly talk about them. So multiple discriminant analysis, you can use it to predict when, let's say, you have two groups. You want to, let's say if you take a bank, you want to predict the likelihood that people are going to default in the payment of their loans or not, according to certain characteristics that you have about them, maybe their age, their credit worthiness, you know, age, gender, other things. You can use this technique to do that. It's called multiple discriminant analysis. Now, we normally talk about that because that's the foundation of these kind of corporate failure prediction models. So basically, you have to develop an MDA function which is defined as this, where Z is the Z-score, and then you have a set of independent discriminant variables that you are going to use to predict that Z-score based on the coefficients. And these are powerful, you compute them statistically. And then once you're able to do that and get your Z-score, you have to have a cutoff point, and then that is what is going to be used to make your decision. This is what Professor Altman first used to develop his popular Altman's Z-score model, which is used for corporate failure prediction. So if you read his original work, he collected data on a lot of companies, over 3,000 of them, some which have failed and others which hadn't. And then he used the multiple discriminant analysis to generate a Z-score function and establish these coefficients based on the data. Yes, he did a hard work. So he used, what did he use? He used some ratios, and that's why I brought it here, because now if you appreciate financial ratios, you can stretch that knowledge a bit. So basically, these are the ratios that Professor Altman used. X1 is working capital to total assets. You see, that's a liquidity ratio. X2 is retained earnings to total assets. And then X3 is earnings before interest and taxes to total assets. X4 is marketing value of equity to book value of total assets. X5 is sales over total assets. These are the ratios he used. So he computed all these ratios for over 3,000 firms. And then he used multiple discriminant analysis to generate this discriminant function and computed the Z-score and established the cutoff points. So basically, so this is the first model, but later Altman modified the model a bit. But this is the Altman Z-score, two of them, both of them are attributable to him. So when you calculate the Z-score, okay, what's going to happen is that when the Z-score is greater than 2.9, it means that the firm is in the safe zone. Okay, so it's not likely going to fail. When the Z-score is between 1.23 and 2.9, it means that it's in a gray area. It means that firm is suspicious. It has a high tendency of failing. And then when the Z-score is less than 1.23, it means that firm is in the distress zone, financial distress zone, and it faces a very high risk of failing. And in his early work, he was able to show that all the failed firms had a Z-score less than 1.23. Yeah. So you can take this model and apply it to a company or any organization today and compute the Z-score. How do you do that? Simple. You have to just calculate all these ratios, use the discriminant analysis to calculate the Z-score. Now, if you are not a sophisticated statistician, you can still do this in Excel. You just calculate these ratios and you multiply each of the ratios by these figures of Altman. So let's say if your X1 is, let's say, 0.5, you put it here, and you multiply it. If your X2 is maybe 0.7, you put it here, you multiply that kind of a thing. And then when you finish, you add everything.